for joining us this evening. Regular scheduled council meeting of the Park City City Council on May 8th, 2018 at 7 p.m. Daniela, would you call the roll?
John Leonard. George Glover.
Here.
Ben Salceda.
Here.
Melvin Kerr.
Here.
Tom Jones.
Here.
George Capps.
Here.
Randy Bailey. Jim Schrader.
Here.
A quorum is present, Your Honor.
I was looking for something to sign.
Thank you. Tonight, Pastor Kit Berry is going to lead in the invocation, and Jim Schrader is going to lead in the Pledge of Allegiance. If everybody please stand.
Let's all bow our heads in prayer, please. Holy God, my Father, thank you for the many blessings that our local community has. I pray for those who are in the offices that govern this community, that make wise and godly decisions which are always in the best interest of our community. I'm glad we have the freedom to speak up and to vote for those who oppose our set of values. Even if I differ from these leaders, I pray for them to be blessed by you as our God. And also those who are in law enforcement, please protect them and their line of duty so that they might protect those of us who have placed our trust in them. Holy God, please bless these men and women in the city government, the mayor's office, the commission, and all elected officials, certainly those who put themselves in harm's way, like our law enforcement, our firefighters, and our EMS workers. I'm so thankful, Father, that we have all these people who look after the best interest of our community. I pray that these people chase after your wisdom and your guidance. In the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. The first item on the agenda is approval of the amended agenda that was sent out this afternoon. George?
I'll make a approval for the amended agenda.
And Jim?
Nice, second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Not seeing any discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion passes 6-0. We don't have anything for awards or presentations this evening. And tonight for a public forum, we have two people signed up. So Mr. Steve Brown, if you'd like to come up.
Good evening. Just a quick update on the 4th of July. Normally we wouldn't do on this early, but I kind of missed the deadline on the website. So anybody who's been trying to sign up for any of the events, they are all now online. Took me a few days longer again working this year. So if you read in the paper there to sign up for, you can now get online and sign up. Remember to sign up for the Miss 4th of July pageant on June 30th. That's a new event for us. It'll be taking place at the Best Western. We'll be also having an award ceremony for that on the stage at the 4th of July. Be sure to either check on our website, www.parkcityks4th.com, or give us a call, 448-5766, and we'll get you through to somebody that can help you out. This year we got the car show, the parade, and the pet show. You need to sign up for any of those you're interested in. Also, we'll have the horseshoe tournament, ice cream social, all the food. For bands this year, we've got Road 23. We've got some local talent. We've picked up Curtis the Mentalist from here in Park City. He'll be performing on both stages, noon and evening. And also our concert this year's country, Bryson Michael, and then the fireworks at 10. We still need volunteers and sponsors, so be sure to look us up. If you have any questions, 448-5766. That's it.
Thank you. Appreciate
Have a
it.
good evening.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have Larry Kelly. Larry?
Hi, folks. Good to see everybody. Of course, our park board meeting was last night, and we had good attendance from the city council. We had George and Ben and Melvin all at our park board meeting last night. It was great. Just a shout out to Bruce Helberg. We're working with him on all the parks, and he's awesome. I mean, we get a lot of stuff done quietly with Bruce, and we're very grateful for Bruce on the team. A few of the events, Arbor Day was April 27th. The fifth graders were given a bald cypress seedling. There was a little conflict with some timing at the school, and so we went back on Monday and we planted a white bud tree at would be the northeast corner of the school property. That was attended by the city helped us plant it, park board. We also had the fifth graders, all of them out there, and plus the school administration. It was a nice time. What I would tell you folks is if you've never been to the Arbor Day celebration at Chisholm Trail School, you should go. They have songs, they have skits, the second graders tell jokes, and it's hilarious. I mean, it's really a great time. The fishing derby, June 16th, George and Marsh Hardwick, they get that together. If anybody's available anytime after 6 o'clock on June the 16th, please come out and help get that together. George carries all the weight on that, and we try to help out. And it's an awesome event. If you've not been to that, you should go. Just a couple other ones. The parade, July 4th, we'll have a float in that. And then the August 4th is the ice cream social, and the fall festival both is set for October 27th. Those dates may adjust a little bit, just depending on how far we get through the year. But it's a pleasure to serve on the park board. We felt well supported by the city council, and appreciate that. Any questions for me?
Ben?
Sure, Larry, it's good to see you again tonight, making this a weekly or nightly thing here right now. But I want to say the work that the park board and the tree board are doing is phenomenal, just in the time that I've been able to serve as a liaison on there. So I appreciate all the work that you and the board put into it, and also noting that we need a few more people on that board still for you. So anyone that would be interested in serving on the park and tree board, please let the mayor know, the city know. We'd be glad to add some more people on there, and looking forward again, as he said, to the events coming up. So thank you all for your hard work. We appreciate it.
Thank you. I can voice for all the people on the park board. It's a pleasure to serve the city.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it, Mr. Keller.
Thank you, Larry.
Okay. Next, we have staff reports, and we'll hear from our city administrator, Jack Whitson. Jack?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The park department installed 2 park benches and 3 grills. They helped participate in the April 27th Arbor Day celebration at Chisholm Trail. And it was noted that 2 council members, George Glover and Melvin Kerr, also attended that proceeding, I think. Reminder to the general public, the Brush and Limb Day is May the 19th. So if you have any limbs or brush, be sure to bring them up to the park. Street Department put out some traffic counters at my request on the west side of Broadway to get some truck counts and stuff, and so that's in progress. They also assisted the police department in the May 5th color run. I think they counted something like 240 participants, which is pretty large. They also worked on the 61st Street Bridge a little bit, and I'll get more detail about that here in a minute. Average work order for the Water and Sewer Department for April was 23. I had submitted the grants to WIMPO for the section of 61st Street from Broadway to the Valley Center Flood Control, including the intersection of Broadway. So I've submitted that. They're reviewing it now. Also had to resubmit on the bridge itself. It's supposed to be in bid opening in the year 2019, which is next year. Been working the last several days on a traffic control for the movement of AT&T lines and the gas service company. They have to move their current lines so that when we do take down the bridge, they can stay in service. And so that they're working on that now. They had submitted a plan, but the way I looked at it, it shut down Aircap Drive to trucks and most residents, and we can't have that. So I did my own traffic control plan, and they're going to hear about it tomorrow in a special meeting, because we will keep Aircap open to the public. Yesterday, we had a flag and branding meeting. Councilman Benz was there. We kind of set some guidelines for the stakeholders, which is different than the community participants. So we're moving ahead on that. We're trying to make contact between May the 14th and May 25th with some council members, the mayor, C&T, and the Chamber of Commerce to get some of their input into the process. Then after that, we will go heavily into the general public getting their inputs, and there will be online surveys and things like that. There will be a sidewalk meeting May the 16th at 7:00 p.m. That will kick off the sidewalk process with the consultants and everything. Still room if people want to participate. We need somebody from the park board because I'm sure they want some sidewalks in the parks. So we need somebody from the park board to be on that committee if they want to be, to give us some input about sidewalks in the park. But anyway, that's May the 16th at 7:00. If you'd like to participate, please leave your name at the front desk, and I'll put you on the list so that you will be kept informed. So that's my report. If anybody got any questions, I'd be more than glad to try to answer them for you.
Okay, George?
Well, Jack, I got a question about the flag branding. I'm not sure, in my mind, just what you're looking for. You know, me, myself, I'm a historian. I look at the past, and I look at what Park City was and what it's known for. Yeah. Is that what they're looking for, or? Well,
they're wanting your thoughts on that.
Well, you know, we sit on the Osage Trail,
yeah,
which is a very historic route.
Also the Chisholm Trail.
I know. And are they going to make that part of the flag, or?
That's kind of what they're the process of seeking right now. And, you know, if anybody's noticed, the city of Keachai just rebranded, and they also use some stuff that has some ties back into their history. So that's the information they're looking for through these meetings that we need to be vocal about.
You might be receiving a call, George, asking you about your opinion, okay?
Okay. Well, you know, I look at, like, Wichita was a cow town, and they went completely away from their past. I looked at Fort Worth, they're a cow town, and they embraced their past, and they've got a place down there in their stockyards that people come from all over Texas to see. And, you know, Wichita didn't do that. All of our history has gone to western Kansas. And I just, you know, it's just my thoughts.
Well, they're looking for that kind of input, George, for sure, and they might be calling you. If you don't mind them calling you.
Oh, I don't mind.
Okay, are you good, George? Ben?
Yeah, I was just going to say from the time meeting yesterday with the flag and the rebranding that I felt very encouraged with the desire to get input from not just the council and from, you know, the city, but from citizens throughout all of Park City. It seems very evident from the planning that anyone and everyone who wants to be involved in the process can be. It's just going to be a matter of taking the time to be involved. But just listening to them as they presented yesterday, kind of giving a timeline and an idea of where they want to head, it gives us an opportunity, even as George mentioned, looking at our past as a city, the historical aspects of it, and also looking ahead to where we want to go. But it seems like the ability for anyone to be involved will be very, very available for anyone. So I am excited with the approach that they're taking to make sure that each of the citizens have a chance to have their voice heard.
Okay. Not seeing any further questions for Jack. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion? Jim
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
and John?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion passes 7-0. That brings us to new business, item A, which is consider an ordinance annexing land located at 617 East 69th Street North. Jack?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On your screen, it identifies the location of the property. Broadway Avenue on your left, 69th Street, zone north. The property abuts that. Across the road is Lou Rebelli's property. He bought this particular property here and wanted to get it inside of the city limits. But his industrial track is across the street and goes up all the way up to Hayes Company. And he'd like to get that annexed into Park City.
Tom?
Since owner requested, I'd make a motion, we approve an ordinance annexing the land located at 617 East 69th Street North.
Okay, and John?
Second.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Not seeing any. Daniela, would you call the roll?
John Leonard,
Aye.
George Glover,
Aye.
Ben Zalsova,
Aye.
Melvin Kerr,
Aye.
Tom Jones.
Aye.
George Capps,
Aye.
Jim Schrader.
Aye.
And that is approved 7-0.
That is ordinance 1044-2018.
Thank you, Daniela. The next item on the agenda is consider the appointment of David Potter to the Park and Recreation and Tree Board to fill the unexpired term ending January 1st, 2019. What? What are you talking about? Okay, you're messing me up here. I'm sorry. Okay. Ben?
Mr. Mayor, I talked with David just a little bit ago, and he's on his way. Is there any way that we could table this to the end of the, towards the end, or?
Since we got it, we can go ahead and prove it, and we can always give him an opportunity to speak at the end.
Well, then I'll make a motion that we approve the appointment of David Potter to the Park and Recreation Tree Board.
Okay. Tom?
I was going to second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Not seeing any further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion passes 7-0. The next item on the agenda, item C, which is consider naming the streets at Hat McLean Park at the request of Westar Energy for addressing meters per drawing. Jack?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. David Oldham was down doing some electrical work, and it's always been a problem. We have several meters on this drawing. Everywhere there's a number, there's an electric meter. And when there's a problem, somebody calls it in, and Westar says, well, okay, what's the address? 681 North Hydraulic. So you can see where the problem is. We've got a big park. Where is it in the park? Also, I talked to the chief a little bit, and he would like to also add some addressing on some key points so that if somebody's having a problem, they call 911, they can have an address to say where they're at. Now, I'm going to go over these streets with you here, the names that we recommend that should probably be used. This road coming in all the way to the end up here, called Ravina, East Ravina, which makes sense. It lines up with Ravina currently on the east side of Hydraulic. The road going north here would be the North Park Road. Around the old swimming pool would be Ravina Circle. And we ask that you approve these street names this evening. The chief will be adding, beginning with me and looking at some additional addressing. We will buy street signs that will also list the block that they're in and everything, and install them into the park. So people, you know, they see a number on the deal, they know what road it is, and they can let 911 know what's happening.
I think this is a great idea. It should have been done 20 years ago. There's been so many times, especially from the law enforcement perspective, where it's a big park. So anything that helps give some tools or to just kind of point out where you might be, I just can't see how you go wrong doing this. Tom?
I'd make a motion, we approve city's recommendation.
Melvin?
I'll second it.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Not seeing any further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion passes 7-0. That brings us to item D, which is consider bids for the High Ridge 3rd Edition Water and Sewer. Jack?
Okay, just a second here. My machine here has frozen. It just won't let me do anything here. He's coming here. Sorry. Thank you. Okay. We took bids last Thursday on the water and sewer for High Ridge 3rd Edition. The roads will be put in privately. This project is located at the southeast corner of 69th Street and Hydraulic. There's about 30 lots in there for duplexes. We recommend the low bidder of Meese Construction. And somebody took my piece of paper I just had here. It's
We're 192,132.30 on the sanitary sewer.
Yeah. For
And
both
then-
of them,
right.
it's a package. It's 200 and, what happened to my piece of paper?
249, 238.30.
Yeah, that's it. So small, I can't read it up there, so. But we recommend Meese Construction as being the low bidder. Meese has done a lot of work in Park City over the years and has always done a decent job.
Okay, does anybody have any questions? Ben?
I make a motion that we go ahead and approve staff recommendation here to take on, or for Meese Construction to do the work here at High Ridge.
Okay. George?
I'll second that.
Daniela, do you have what you need? Okay, thank you. You got a motion and a second. Not seeing any further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion passes 7-0. That brings us to item E, which is the election of a council president. As you know, this is something we do in this timeframe annually, where we look at a new person to elect for the council position seat. George?
Well, you know, a lot of places go in rotations for city council. We don't. But you know, we got an individual on here, like we got a couple that's been elected by the people twice and have never been nominated for that position. And one of them is a real soldier, and that's George Glover, and I'd like to nominate him.
Okay, so we got one nomination for George. Tom?
I'll second that.
Okay. Anybody else? John?
Like George said, I'm a believer in rotating around, not trying to not have consistent. I mean, I think way back in years past, we kept the same person through the years for quite a while. I think it's good to rotate around where we get different experience. I would nominate Tom Jones.
Okay.
I know he won't vote for himself, but
We've been down that road, haven't we?
Jim?
I would second that. Good nomination.
Okay. So We got a nomination for George Glover and a nomination for Tom Jones. Anybody else? Okay. All those in favor of George Glover signify by raising your hand.
I can't vote.
Okay. So we got 5-2.
It's got it.
All right. So George, you're the new council president.
Thank you.
So
Thank you, John, but
get ready to get your phone blown up.
Okay.
'Cause I always use the council president.
I'm ready.
All right. So the next item is just governing body reports, and we'll start with Jim.
I have nothing to report tonight.
George?
Well, I don't really have anything to report. I got just a thought, something that's kind of stuck in my craw. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But, you know, there's perception and there's reality. And there's a, excuse me, there's a car dealership in Wichita who's got a deal going for Sedgwick County. It's called Salute the Badge. And by their opinion, the only law enforcement officers in Sedgwick County apparently are Wichita and the Sedgwick County Sheriff's Department. And I simply don't buy into that concept. I've seen the work of all of them in my years, and there's some awful good officers out here in different agencies. I've seen their work. I'd put some of our people's work against any of theirs. I just my thought, I just kind of like to hold up for our guys a little bit. I think they're every bit as loyal, dedicated, and do their job just as well as the Sheriff's Department in Wichita. Just my thoughts.
I would agree.
That's all I have.
Tom?
I don't have anything.
All right. Melvin?
I wanted to kind of mimic what Larry Kelly said about the Arbor Day. It was kind of neat to see all the kids doing the different plays, the songs, and telling the jokes and everything. That was pretty good. And I was also able to take a day trip with the seniors there, and that was, we got an exciting bunch of seniors, I think, and that's, really enjoyed it, so.
All right. Ben?
Yeah, just want to say thank you to the Park City Pride for their work on the golf frisbee tournament last month. They're getting that taken care of. Also want to congratulate George on being elected as our council president for the next year. Looking forward to working with him in that capacity. And then also this Saturday at the Daylight Donuts or at Pastry Place here, I'll be joined by Chief Boston for the Convos Over Coffee event. So that's 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock this Saturday at the Pastry Place with Chief Boston. So I'd love to see you out there.
George?
Yeah, I'm just humbled to be elected council president. I know there are other people here as well that are just, can easily get that position, but so I'm humble for that. I hope to do a good job for that and work with everybody. Also want to bring up the fishing derby. Again, it's going smoothly this year. It's a big time event, family event. It's the day before Father's Day, June 16th from 9 to 11. It's at the North Chisholm Point Pond on North Grove. So new folks in town who've never come to it, come. It's free. It's for all age groups from 0 to 100. It doesn't cost you anything. We start signing up about 8:30, 8:45. We do have people get there early, and I kind of have to shoo them away because they'll have their stringer full before we even start the derby. So, but anyway, come to it. It's a great event, and the kids love it. Thank you.
Okay. John?
I have nothing. Did we have someone that was going to be here?
Well, David Potter was on his way, so he could be here.
Well, maybe he could come to the next
introduce him.
meeting. We
There
can
you go.
address him
Yeah,
at the
that's
next
why I
meeting.
was thinking that we'll just invite him
Okay.
back to the next meeting.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ben?
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion passes 7-0.